In a world where compassion sometimes feels scarce, there are moments that restore our faith in humanity. This is the story of a brave animal, left for dead, and the incredible group of people who refuse to let him go. Stay with us as we unravel a rescue mission that will touch your heart. A group of friends was out for a hike. What they found would change the life of a desperate creature, forever. It was a day like any other. A group of hikers, led by a man named Mark, was making their way through a remote and rocky region, far from any signs of civilization. As they hiked deeper into the wilderness, something caught their eye. In the distance, under the unforgiving sun, stood a horse. But not just any horse. This poor creature was in a terrible state, starving, thirsty, and unable to move. Its leg was bound tightly by a rope, as if someone had abandoned him here, left to die. Mark and his friends knew they couldn't walk away. The horse was scared at first, unsure of whether these new strangers meant harm or help. But as Mark slowly approached, something magical happened. The horse, despite his fear, began to walk toward him, wobbling and weak, as if he knew this was his only chance for survival. As Mark reached out his hand, the horse eagerly came forward. He wasn't searching for affection, though, he was looking for food. The poor animal had been without proper nourishment for who knows how long. When he realized there was no food, the disappointment in his eyes was clear. But Mark wasn't going to let the horse down. He quickly pulled out a small bar of chocolate, the only thing he had on hand. While chocolate might not be the ideal food for a horse, in that moment, it was enough to keep him going. The horse quickly devoured the small treat, but it was obvious he needed much more. The hikers realized this wasn't just a case of hunger. The horse was trapped, his front leg bound tightly with a rope. They had no idea how long he had been stuck here, unable to move, with no grass left to eat and no water in sight. It was a miracle he had survived this long. With great care, Mark took out a small knife and began cutting through the rope that had been digging into the horse's flesh. The horse stood perfectly still, almost as if he knew he was finally being set free. With one final slice, the rope fell away, and for the first time in days, the horse could move freely. The first steps were slow and shaky. His front leg was stiff, likely from days of being immobilized. But the horse, despite his pain, kept moving. He was determined to survive. However, there was one more thing he needed: water. One of the hikers quickly found a bucket and filled it with water. And then, something incredible happened. The horse, dehydrated and desperate, lunged toward the bucket. In mere seconds, the entire bucket of water was gone. But that wasn't enough. The horse licked the bucket, still thirsty, begging for more. The hikers filled the bucket again. And again. 3 times, the horse drained the water, each time gulping it down like it was the last water he'd ever see. Finally, after the 3rd bucket, the horse slowed down. His breathing became more steady, and it was clear that he had fought through the worst of his ordeal. But this was far from the end of the story. Mark and his friends knew they couldn't leave him here. With no other choice, they quickly contacted a local animal rescue team. After an agonizing wait of over an hour, the rescue truck finally arrived. The horse's journey of survival wasn't over yet, but with professional help now on the way, his chances of recovery were finally looking up. As the rescue team loaded the horse into their truck, there was a sense of relief among the hikers. They had done everything they could to save him. And in that moment, the horse, once abandoned and on the brink of death, had hope once again. This story reminds us all of the power of compassion. It's a reminder that no matter how dire a situation may seem, there is always hope. All it takes is for someone to care enough to step in. Thanks to the hikers, this horse got a second chance at life. But many animals out there are still in need of help. If you ever come across an animal in distress, don't hesitate to reach out to local rescue services. Every life matters, and you could be the difference between life and death. If this story touched you, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming rescue stories. And remember, together, we can make a difference.